Dust Bowl took place in the early 1930s, stretching across farmlands throughout Midwestern America. It was a disastrous wave of dust storms that killed livestock and crops, tearing through the hearts of many American farmers. Leroy Hankel, a farmer who lived near North Platte, Nebraska, recalls the Dust Bowl in an interview with Wessel's Living History Farm. But the whole sky in the west, as far as you, just a black cloud. That's the way it looked. But it was all dirt, and that's all we got out of it. We got all dirt. Dave Frazier had his truck sitting out in front of the store, and it even blew about 30 to 40 feet, just right down the street. The Dust Bowl occurred due to an untimely mix of poor farming practices and poor weather. The Enlarged Homestead Act of 1909 allowed citizens to claim up to 320 acres of government land, leading to a large influx of new and inexperienced farmers to migrate to the Midwest. In the early 1920s, a post-World War I recession led farmers to try mechanized farming techniques to hope to turn a profit. In 1931, farmers produced a record number of crops. Crop overproduction with the Great Depression led to severely reduced market prices. Farmers could not earn back their production costs, so they expanded their fields for larger crop quantities. In doing so, the farmers replaced natural drought-resistant grasses with wheat. The farmers did not realize the damage they were doing because they followed the superstitious phrase, "rain follows the plow." Lack of natural topsoil and plow-based farming allowed the topsoil to blow away with the wind. In 1932, the rain stopped, propelling 14 dust storms to occur in 1 year. The next year, 1933, recorded 40 dust storms. Although poor farming practices and severe drought make the Dust Bowl seem inevitable, was it possible that the United States could have prevented the disaster?
Yes and no. Some of it could have. The stripping of the land, the overplanting, depletion of the soil, all of those were avoidable. But the roughly 10-year drought that occurred, that unfortunately we could not have controlled.
The Dust Bowl had many negative impacts on the U.S. as a whole. It affected the U.S. in all categories from economics to politics. One of these negative effects was decreased trading with foreign countries. The Dust Bowl caused this because of two things. One being that the land that used to be farmed on could not be anymore. Less goods meant less trading with other countries. Furthermore, ships were discouraged from trading with the U.S. because the ships would often be covered in dust, causing mechanical failure. Finally, Roosevelt created the New Deal. The deal made our government focused on fixing the environment completely. We planted hundreds of millions of trees across America to strengthen the soil and improve the environment. Furthermore, a program was created that allowed 8.5 million displaced cookies to get new jobs and provide for their families. Although the Dust Bowl was a priority in America in the 1930s, it was overshadowed by the greater issue, the Great Depression. How did the Dust Bowl contribute to the Great Depression?
It added insult to injury. As more families suffered, they began to move elsewhere in the country, mostly to the Pacific, and that created a lot of competition. And as competition for jobs increased, so too did anger, frustration, resentment, and of course, desperation.
In 1937, the government stepped in to stop the Dust Bowl by creating a campaign that taught Dust Bowl farmers the proper way to farm. The campaign ultimately ended the Dust Bowl, but the scars were everlasting. 6,500 people died during the Dust Bowl, and 2.5 million people fled the Midwestern states. Lost jobs and deaths ruined the lives of families across America.